The reality is that barmen and restaurateurs across Ireland are not going to be... Are they going to hire a bouncer at the door to make public health decisions? The government has repeatedly ruled out the idea of differentiating between vaccinated and non-vaccinated. As recently as last Sunday, Eamon Ryan was out in the airways saying that it was just not possible to implement on a societal level, on a legal level. There are all sorts of difficulties.
Civil
the data
liberties,
protection.
etc.
Well, the Data Protection Commissioner has come out to question it. There's also the practicality of it. I mean, who's going to enforce it? The government have ruled it out, and yet NPHET come and propose it last night. I mean, it seems to me to be a direct challenge to the democratic authority of this government. We're having effectively the same conversation now that we were having this time last year, and unless we change either the conversation or the solutions on the table, we will have the same conversation.
Michael, because the vaccine programme changes everything, and
that's what we were told would happen. But unfortunately, having vaccinated the vulnerable age cohort in society and moving down to younger people, it appears to have changed nothing, because we're having the same conversation about opening hospitality, opening the tourist sector, and these are sectors of our economy that are important. And they're hugely important.
Is that not because we have the Delta variant, though? Things have changed on the other side.
Yeah, but after we have the Delta variant, we will have the Epsilon variant, and eventually we will get to the Omega variant, because that seems to be what happens with, for example, influenza, variants of influenza, and one replaces another. And it presupposes that if we didn't have the Delta variant, we wouldn't have COVID, but we would. It's the Delta variant takes over from a previous one, and I expect... Now, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a doctor, but I'd be very surprised if there isn't another variant that takes over from the Delta variant.
We've got to find another way.
Well, I think we have to find a way of living with COVID and determining what risk is appropriate. But we have vaccinated a certain part of society.
Michael, you're quite right.
The second point I would make is that people at some point people will have to be able to determine what risk is appropriate for them. Because if we open up aviation, which hopefully we will to some extent, lesser extent than other countries, a lot of people still won't want to fly, and that's understandable. If we open up bars, a lot of people will not want to go into a bar, a lot of people will not want to go into restaurants, but some people will assess the risk that's posed to them and the people that they meet in their lives and their families, and determine that it is a risk that they feel is appropriate to them.